Hello, and welcome to my ever so lovely citizen science project. Today I will be explaining why, how, and where I built my bat house, as well as discussing the results and significance of the results I found while tracking for bat activity. The first question I asked myself when I began building my bat house is why am I building it in the first place? What are bats good for? After I did a little research, I found that bats are actually very helpful to the environment and even backyards. Although bats are portrayed in most movies as scary blood-sucking creatures, in reality they are an animal that many of Earth's plants would not survive without. Bats pollinate over 500 species of plants, and many of these plants are sources of human food, such as mango, banana, cocoa, and guava. In addition, bats are an important mode of seed dispersal, and as bats digest seeds and leave them on the ground, the seeds are ready to germinate and grow. Now you may be thinking, yes, it's good that bats pollinate tropical plants, but how can they benefit me in my backyard? The answer to that is in their diet. Almost all bats are insectivores, meaning that they eat only insects. Bats can help with insect control by eating those pesky mosquitoes that bother us during the warmer months, as well as groundworms and other insects that can eat and kill garden plants. Now who wouldn't want mosquito-free air? The next important question I asked myself is how am I going to build a bat house? Following a website online, I went to Home Depot and bought the necessary bat house making materials, including plywood, pine, screws, and a dark tinted paint stain. The website recommended making grooves into the bat house for the bats to cling onto, but I decided to use some leftover fish netting I had in my garage. The dark paint stain was used to help the bat house absorb heat, since bats like a warm habitat best. I had my father help me cut the wood, but for everything else, I simply followed the instructions on the website online. I think the bat house turned out pretty good. The website recommended putting the bat house on the side of a building, but my family did not want me to put it on the side of our house, so I put it on a tree in our backyard instead. I tried to put it as high up on the tree as I could with the size of ladder that we had, and made sure that it was in a generally open space so that the bats could easily reach it. In addition, I put the bat house near our pool because in the summer they often like to fly around the top of the pool catching mosquitoes, and I thought the pool nearby would attract more bats. After I put the bat house up in early December, I regularly checked it every 2 weeks at various times during the day. Unfortunately, as you can see in the chart, there was no sign of any bats. However, I am not discouraged. I plan to keep my bat house up over the summer and even through senior year to see if any bats decide to use it as a home. I'll let you know if I have any luck. Although this chart doesn't have much information, I'll give you a second to look at it. There are a few reasons why I think as of now my bat house is still very much batless. Firstly, I think that I may have put my bat house up a tad bit too late. Bat hibernation usually begins late October through November, and I did not put my bat house up until early December. Secondly, I have two very adorable but very loud Labradors that like to bark at everything, living and non-living, and I believe that their presence may have scared away potential bat guests. Finally, I would also like to mention that the website I used for instructions on how to build a bat house did say that it can take up to 2 years for a bat to move into a bat house, so this project may be more of a high school career project versus a 2-semester project. Finally, I'm going to talk about a disease that is killing bats not only in Georgia, but also around the country. White nose syndrome is a disease that affects hibernating bats and has killed some 5.7 million bats in eastern North America. You can see where in eastern North America from the graph on my slide. I actually think we did a case study on this first semester, but it came up again while I was researching. White nose syndrome is characterized by a white fungus growing around the bat's nose and eyes, or on the bat's wing. And bats who have white nose syndrome often exhibit unusual behavior, such as flying outside during the day or hanging around near the entrances of caves. I decided to include this information in my presentation because one of the ways we can help bats with white nose syndrome is by providing homes for them, such as with a bat house. Another reason why bat houses are helpful. Here are the sources that gave me information for why bats are helpful, how to build a bat house, and all about white nose syndrome. This concludes the presentation.